Why do applicants book an interview, confirm it 3 times, and then disappear into the witness protection program 5 minutes before it starts?
The average person, I think, currently, they have to apply for, I think it's something silly like 45 jobs to get accepted for one. Like, it is crazy. For me, this is really hard. Like, you've called them 3 times, then I don't understand why they're leaving, because the first call is your instant relationship building, right? And then the second call is the same thing. But I think what a lot of people forget is like their own personality when it comes to recruitment. I do talent acquisition because I love speaking to people. I don't know if that comes across, but on my CV, professional yapper. I think when you do go into a role that is highly driven towards talking to people, you need to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
So when I call someone, it isn't instantly, let's get through these screening questions. It's, right, I'm going to see how their day was. They've applied for this role. I can have their CV and I know exactly what they've done, but tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
Let's go through that. Let's ask questions about that.
Yeah.
And then delve into it more. And then they start releasing things like, oh, my son did this and my daughter did that. And then my next phone call is, oh, you said your son was doing this or your daughter was doing that, or you had this to go to, so you couldn't do an interview that day. How was that?
Yeah.
It's this whole, it can't be so conveyor belt for employers as much as it is for candidates. I think we do get a lot of people don't turn up to interviews. And I think sometimes it's location. Like, they are more than happy to drive wherever their base is. So say obviously Acacia, they're more than happy to drive within Staines and things like that, but coming all the way here I think will stop them. So I think sometimes for companies it should be let's meet halfway. When I worked for a recruitment company, I used to go all the way to Diss to do interviews for jobs in Diss. I used to go to them and I used to meet them in a Costa. And that's how I used to do my interviews, because I found it a lot of the time when I would either have to get people to go to the home, because it wasn't able to get to, it just wasn't a good area. The parking wasn't very good, but you would get a space once you worked there. So it was really hard for them to do that. So it was a lot easier to meet them in a Costa, and they didn't always have to drive for these sorts of things. So I think, there is an element of people just apply for anything and then wait until something better comes along. I genuinely do. If that is the case, then I think a lot of companies are sometimes looking in the wrong place. People at job centres, they might not have the exact skills you need, but this is where companies should react with other companies. Like, if we're ever at a jobs fair, someone comes up to me, they're like, I want to work in care. I'm like, do you drive? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, where do you live? And they're like, Woking. And I'm like, right, well, Acacia's over there.
Yeah.
I don't ever sit there and go, right, come here, give me your name. Like, I'm not, and then I'm going to give them to another company. I go, okay, Acacia's there, let's send them there. And not enough companies do that. Yeah. There was people from an event at Asda who lived in Staines, but they weren't looking for work in a certain area where Asda were looking. We kept on to them, and they interviewed with Asda. We kept on to them, and now they're going to come to Acacia. It wasn't a case of, okay, they're gone. It was like, okay, what else is going to fit them?
Yeah.
And I think that's, for us, is what we do. And we even have people recommended from Surrey Choices. They join our platform because Surrey Choices has told them about us, and we will send people, I mean, that's what we do, but we send people to Surrey Choices. If someone comes from Surrey Choices, I go, they'd be really good for there and they'd be really good for here. And not enough organisations do that now. Yeah. Whereas before, I would have, like, I worked at Nurse Plus, I would have someone from Swan Staff call me and say, look, I've sent a couple of candidates down your way. They're really great. We just don't have any work for them. Great, cool. If we then had someone and we were like, we don't got work in that area, Swan Staff is here, I would call them and go, you've got work here. It's not collaborative enough anymore. And I say it as a community, and I don't mean location community, I mean the type of organisation that you are community. I don't think there's enough of that when it comes to sending candidates to different places.
Yeah, I get that.
Because the whole idea why Talent Hub was actually created, because within the county, like, we had like there was an example where they were hiring for a nurse, and then there were like over 75 applicants, and there was just one to be hired. One was hired, but then what happened to the rest 74? Nobody knows. So that's why the Talent Hub came in place, and that's how I think the whole idea of creating, like, having people on the day of the interview is to create the right pipeline. That's extremely important, because things change. Like on the day of the interview, there might be actual things happening in people's lives, and then the weather might not be nice. There might be other things going on, so you never know. But then I also think that when we start speaking to candidates, the very first call that you get into, like Amelia was saying, that instead of you, like as a recruiter or somebody, calling a candidate and letting them know about the job, and if they have applied, make them talk. Because if they are talking back or saying things that, oh, I remember I applied for this role, oh, I remember, where did I, when did I, when they are talking, it means that they are genuinely interested. So yeah, I think that's very important to actually understand, because if you are just like ticking in marks that, okay, yeah, I call the person and then this person is going to come, there is 99% chance that this person is not going to come, because they just did yes, okay, yeah, okay, and then they are done. They are not talking about the job.
Yeah, and you don't know anything about them that way either. You don't know if they're going to be a good fit.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's where the interest level of the candidate shows, and that's how you actually know that, okay, on the day of the interview. Even after that, they would like it says, it's been said, like after having 3 conversations, there might be cases where they would be like, oh, sorry, I have a hospital emergency, I won't be in. It's fine. But then the cases would be lesser in comparison to what we have on a regular basis.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, because working, you know, in healthcare, like with Acacia domiciliary care, you never know what's going to happen. We could suddenly tomorrow have 10 people discharged from the hospital. So all of those carers that I initially didn't have any work for, but I'm going to keep your CV because something might change. Now I have work for you. Like, let's do this. And that's why we keep them.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if it's not a great fit for them at the time, try this care home or this agency. Like, we'll give them other contacts to try as well. You know, if you want to still build on your experience, or if you're just outside of our area, try this care home, because that will help you get your foot in the door as well. All of that helps to build those relationships. So in the future, maybe they are living in Staines and they're driving and they've now got 5 years of experience and they want to come work for Acacia. Brilliant.
Yeah, there's been times, I mean, we spoke to someone last week who they went in, they walked into domiciliary care, much like yourselves, and said, I want a job. And they were like, okay, cool. And he was like, well, I've got to go back. He's from South Africa. I've got to go back to South Africa and sort all my house bits out and stuff like that. And the woman was like, yeah, okay, cool. We'll sort it when you get back. Thinking he's never coming back. It was about 3 years later. And she really liked him when he first came in, and really wanted to get him working. 3 years later, he came back and said, oh, I'm settled here now. I've got everything and I'm ready to work. She was shocked. And it was like, it's because the first experience you had was a great experience, so they want to come back.
First impressions do always make a difference.
Oh, they matter.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah. And that's why also I love it when we do like events. We're doing events together. You know, going to the job centre to network with people. You get to see them face to face. You have that interaction like this. You can laugh, have a joke, all that sort of stuff. It's even more of an impact when you do it in person, when it's that first contact as well.
Yeah, definitely.